Hey there everyone, it's CandyEvie and today I'm bringing you a different type of video. You all know how much I love shinies, as evidenced by the amount I have on my channel. But what a lot of you may not know is that I was a shiny hunter long before I started my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing something of a showcase with the shinies you didn't know I have. Before I get started, I would like to give a massive shout out to the Supreme Arcanines, as he deserves full credit for this idea, as he inspired me not only to make a video of this format, but to actually start hunting in the first place. There will be a link to his channel not only on this video, but in the description too, so you had better check out his channel. Now on with the video. I was around 7 when I found my very first shiny, so I would date that at around 2006. I unfortunately do not have this shiny to show you, but I remember it very well. My first shiny was a Zigzagoon in my Ruby version. I was searching for a Volbeat in Route 117, and I came across a strangely coloured Zigzagoon. I did notice it, but it wasn't different enough for me to think much of it. I thought that my eyes were playing tricks on me, and so I ran from it. This is a shiny that I am yet to reclaim, but I'm sure that I'll find it again someday. In February 2008, I decided that I would start my Ruby game again and play through it for fun. Well, doing this brought me the first shiny that I ever caught. It was a Zubat in Granite Cave. At the time I had no idea what shinies were, but I knew that this Zubat was definitely special. I caught it and I named it Rarebat. This pretty much reinforces how little I knew about shinies at the time. I transferred it up to my Pearl version and evolved it into a pretty pink Crobat. I still have it in my Soul Silver, and even today it is definitely one of the most prized shinies that I have in my collection. About a month later, I was messing around in Route 226, and I found an oddly coloured Raticate. It sparkled the same way that my Crobat did, so I knew that I had to have this Pokemon on my team. To go along with my Crobat, I ended up giving this Raticate the nickname of Rarebat. It's still on my Soul Silver today, and it holds a special place for me as one of the first shinies I ever found. My next shiny came nearly a year later. This time, I was playing through Pokemon Fire Red. I just passed through Victory Road, but I decided that my Pokemon needed to be leveled up a little more before I took on the Elite Four. So I went back into Victory Road to train, and the first Pokemon that I encountered was a shiny Primeape. I was very much caught off guard, and I didn't really have many Pokeballs in my bag. I didn't want to fail such a rare encounter, so I ended up drawing my Master Ball. Going along with my previous trend, I named it Rare Monkey, or Rare Monkey due to the character limit. My next random shiny came a year after that again. It was in my Soul Silver this time. I was just wandering around Kanto's Route 14. I decided it would be fun to headbutt a tree, and when I did, I was greeted by a pretty golden bird, a shiny Hoot-Hoot. I mistakenly thought that Hoot-Hoot had Whirlwind among its moveset, so this is another shiny that I Master Balled. I named her Moonlight and I still have her on my game today. Before I get onto my hunted shinies, I'm going to admit that back in Generation 4 I did do my fair share of chaining. Using this method, I managed to snag myself a shiny Budu and 2 shiny Absol. I Master Balled my first Absol because I confused its Razor Wind attack with Whirlwind and I didn't want to lose a shiny. Even though I don't find chaining exciting anymore, I still find these shinies kinda cool to look at. And so, my very first hunted shiny was this Slakoth. I found her in Pesselberg Woods in the summer of 2010. I was using quite the odd method as well. I was simply doing encounters around Hoenn and seeing where the shiny popped up first. And of course, the shiny turned up in Pesselberg Woods. Not only was it a shiny, but it was a Slakoth. Slakoth has a 5% encounter rate in this area, so it was the rarest shiny I could have possibly found there by a long way. I'm astounded even now that this happened, but this shiny remains one of the rarest and most valued shinies in my collection. The next shiny on this list was also in Ruby version. I was using the same method as before, simply going from area to area until I found a shiny. And of course, the shiny happened to appear in the Safari Zone. It was a shiny Gloom. This Gloom, like the Slakoth, had a 5% encounter rate in that area, so it was incredibly rare. And it fled. I was playing outside with a friend at the time, and he laughed while I sat there and lost such a rare shiny. One does not simply laugh when another's shiny lost. The next shiny that I found was again in my Ruby version in the autumn of 2010. I was again using the same area to area way of hunting. I found a shiny in Route 118, and it was a shiny Manectric. Even now, this is still one of my favourite owned shinies. The black and the orange go together beautifully, and the change of the colour of its eyes from red to blue makes it even better. It was also the first shiny that I'd ever trained to level 100. I found the next shiny on this list shortly after my shiny Manectric, yet again on my Ruby version, using the same area-to-area method of hunting. It was a shiny Numel in Fiery Path. This shiny and its evolution are easily among Hoenn's best shinies in my opinion. I honestly regret transferring my shiny Slackoth, Manectric and Numel to my 4th generation games, because I think that they look much better in the originals, but my Numel won the masterclass of every single contest type, so there are actually still records of my shiny Numel in my Ruby's art gallery, so it's not completely gone. Soon after I found all of these shinies, I decided that I wanted to play through my Pearl again, with only shinies. But whilst I was preparing to do this, I found the second random shiny on my Pearl version. And so, with what is possibly one of the best shinies on this list, I present to you a shiny Bidoof. Even though I wasn't hunting, I was still keeping records of my encounters, and this shiny Bidoof came after less than 200 since my last shiny. I knew that it was shiny the moment that I saw it come across the screen, and to be honest, I found it pretty funny. And so, the next shiny on this list marks the debut of my quest to play through my Pearl version with a shiny only team. I decided to hunt for Chimchar. Let's bear in mind that this is my Pearl version, and unlike in Platinum, there is a potential to encounter an uncatchable shiny Starly, as many hunters have had the misfortune of finding. But I was incredibly lucky. I managed to find a shiny Chimchar in under 1000 soft resets, and not only that, but it was a female shiny Chimchar. Starter Pokemon have a ratio of 7 males to every female, so finding a shiny female starter is incredibly difficult. And just over 2 weeks after that, I found my second shiny of my Pearl shiny quest. It was in Eterna Forest. It was a brilliantly green shiny Cascoon. I evolved this into a beautifully golden shiny Dustox, which I still have on my Pearl version today. Unfortunately, my Pearl shiny playthrough didn't go too well after that, as my next target was Palkia. This shiny took a total of 3 years of on and off hunting, and a total of over 14,000 soft resets. So unfortunately, it would be a while before I was regularly finding shinies on my Pearl version again, but that certainly doesn't mean that I'm done here. As we all know, 2011 was also the year that the 5th generation of Pokemon was released in the UK, and I certainly had a lot of fun playing through my Black version. Next shiny was completely random. I was walking in Twist Mountain in order to get the daily fossil. Before I was able to speak to the fossil guy, I encountered a Pokemon. A shiny Boulder, a really pretty blue and purple sparkling rock. It had been months since I'd even thought about shinies, so seeing this appear really was a nice surprise. Now, the next shiny on this list is the only one that I didn't find myself. My very first Pokemon related channel was made in 2012, under the name of Lil Cutie Evie. Please don't laugh at me. In any case, I did silly little videos on that channel such as Wi-Fi battles and giveaways of Pokemon I bred. Well, one day I helped another YouTuber transfer a box of his Pokemon from one game to the other. When this was done, he gave me a shiny seal that he had found completely randomly a couple of days earlier. When I asked why he'd give a shiny away like that, he said that he didn't want it because it was female. I didn't understand his reasoning, but I got a pretty cool shiny out of it nonetheless. And well, this of course leads up to the next random shiny in my Soul Silver, Poliwag, which was of course the first shiny video that I ever uploaded to YouTube. I was simply looking for a regular Poliwhirl so that I could get a Politoed, and I found a random shiny. This was about 2 years ago, and I was filming the video with my 3DS. I was so embarrassed of the video that I kept it unlisted for a good year or so, and I only made it public more recently. So even though I uploaded this video, few have seen it because I had it hidden for so long. But I've learned that everyone has to start somewhere, and this is the shiny that started my channel off, so I should be proud of it. And so, this is my list of all the shinies that you didn't know I have. I'd love to see other shiny hunters make videos like this as well, so let me know if you do. In any case, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!